Like, if you do not believe into your own product, why would you think anybody else would buy it? Every woman should realize the price they are. Your looks is the least interesting thing about you. Stop demonizing your emotions. I do not need you to understand my feelings. You are not here to teach. You are not here to entertain people. You are not here to explain yourself. You are here to understand yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexandra. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're gonna talk a bit about femininity. One of my goals is to be the most feminine. That means not to make actions, not to act, not to seek, not to chase, but to be, to attract. If you have not seen any videos about femininity, like feminine energy and masculine energy, go look it up. I have already made one of this kind of videos before on my channel, so you're very welcome to see it. I'm a big believer that women are the most happy and the most healthy in their feminine energy. And this is such a shame that we're living in a man-based world, because I think most of the women I know are wounded in their femininity right now. And even though they're very feminine, like feminine looking, feminine appearing, this is not always something that is very out. One of the things that I felt like, oh my God, I'm wounded in my femininity, is still looking for a bit of this validation. And it doesn't always have to be men validation, like male validation. It can be just the simple validation from the outer. Because if you still do not know this, femininity is all about being into yourself, being inwards, like acting from the inside. And it's not acting as you would think about it. It's acting more in the sense that how we feel, how we process our emotions, what is going on all the time inside our head, inside like our energy, our spirit. Women are very spiritual beings, but I've heard it so many times, and even the Bible says so many times, like women are just those creatures that are very delicate. We are very like spiritual. We're supposed to be protected, and we're supposed to be led, and we're supposed to be provided for. And this is something that I want like in my future. And I know that my goal right now is to basically go for it and be the most feminine version of myself as I can be. And this is something I can say to every other woman, but not everybody wants to hear it. So I'm just gonna like say it here. Why is looking for validation hurting your feminine energy? Basically, being feminine, as I've said before, it's all about being into yourself. Being into yourself also means knowing your boundaries, knowing your morals, knowing what you want from life, knowing yourself, and loving yourself fully. I've heard this metaphor once, and it actually changed my whole view into this masculine and feminine energy. The male energy is about getting to the top of the mountain. It's about the action. It's about the getting. It's about the winning. It's about the challenge. Like, oh, I need to get into this mountain. Feminine energy is being the top of the mountain. It's basically, I don't need to do stuff. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to chase. I don't need to have the challenge, the 75 days hard. No, it's all about the being. It's all about just basically embracing yourself as much as you can, knowing yourself, loving yourself, creating the most comfortable surrounding for yourself. And not comfortable as in, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone, because this is something I do all the time. But I mean comfortable as in, you give me a house, I give you a home kind of way. Like I'm creating a nest for myself anywhere I go. Because women, as we are, as creatures that we are, we're literally like, we're creative. We're very creative, and we're creators actually, like we create life, and this is beautiful. And this is not a video for men to feel unappreciated, because I love men, I love masculine energy, but this is not something I want to tap into. I want my man to be the most masculine man in the world, so I can stay in my femininity, because ladies and gentlemen, feminine energy is the most attractive energy. Not without the reason it's called femininity attracts, because basically femininity is all about the attracting. So when you're in your feminine energy, everybody wants to go to you. Everybody's attracted to you, because feminine energy is very attractive. And this is not something I'm doing for just because I want to feel attractive. Like girls, I already feel attractive, but feminine energy is something everybody loves, everybody wants. Women feel the best in their feminine energy. Men, when they're around women in their feminine energy, they feel at peace, they feel at home. Feminine energy is something that is so peaceful and so beautiful and so soothing. Why wouldn't you want to tap into it? Come on, everybody wants that. And if you don't, that's fine. I don't know why you're watching the video then. But anyway, if we want to create this nest, if we're already on the top of the mountain, why do you keep wanting to change yourself? This is something that basically hit me so hard. I've heard so many times, oh, become unrecognizable. Oh, how to change yourself. Create an alter ego and change yourself fully. I don't need to change myself. Actually, I love myself so much. And this is all about feminine energy. Loving yourself, accepting yourself, embracing yourself. And this is the big three of the feminine energy that I love so much. It keeps you in your nest. It makes you a home. It makes you a home for yourself. And like I said, feminine energy is about creating a home from a house. It's about making this nest. It's about being. That's it. It's all about the being. It's not about the chase. It's not about the act. And if you want to change something about yourself, if you feel like you're not your best self yet, of course, like do you. But like I said, do you. If you don't feel like yourself, if you don't feel like this version of yourself is not you, this is not something that's serving you, change it, do it. But basically, try to feel the most you. Do the stuff, do the things that makes you feel the most you. I was actually talking to a friend of mine. This girl is very into her femininity. Why? Because her man lets her be in her feminine energy. So many relationships are shocking for me because women are acting much more masculine than men in those relationships. Not because they want to be, but because nobody is taking up the masculine energy mode. So they are doing this because they want to save the relationship. So anyway, I was talking to this friend of mine and she told me something that I was basically like, I was speechless because this is not like a very good friend of mine, more of like a friend of a friend. But we met somewhere and we were talking and basically she was walking me home and we were talking and the subject came onto relationships. And she told me like, it's good that you're focusing on yourself right now because let me tell you this, right now I feel like this is it. You know why? Because I feel like me with him. I was like, okay, this is interesting. This sounds fun. Like, tell me more. And she told me he never like makes me feel uncomfortable about being any version of myself. And God knows I have many. She's like, I'm not ashamed of crying with him. I'm not ashamed of laughing with him. I'm feeling like I'm embracing myself more and more when I'm being with him. If a man creates this protection nest for you, it's very easy for you to bloom in it. And she told me that like, Ola, it's really good that you're focusing on yourself right now because when you find the right man, you know if he makes you feel like you because you get to know you. And this is something like, oh, she said it so perfectly. Like, this is good that you're focusing on you because you get to know you. And as far as you get to know you, you will know if you're being you in the like future relationship. This was very, very like eye-opening for me because I never looked at it as from this point of view. I always assumed like when I'm gonna meet my person, I'm just gonna know, and this is gonna be just a feeling, like there is not gonna be any reason for it. But then the more I was thinking about it, I was like, we're literally like, when we're thinking about our future husbands, we're gonna spend our lives with them, like, you know, preferably. If we're looking for lifetime partners, who would wanna fake their like themselves their whole life just to be with somebody? And before you met your future husband, you're with yourself all the time. And the more you fall in love with yourself, I think the more you realize how irrelevant the surroundings is. Because like I said, feminine energy is all about the being. And when you fell in love with your being, it gets so magical. I was visiting my house in Poland. My family in Poland. I get back to my house in Poland like a week ago. And I spent there like a whole week. And when I came back from Poland here, I recorded a voice message to my friends like, oh my God, like the switch from the guys from Poland to like Italian guys, it's like, it's so big. Because like, of course, there were men in Poland that I was like, okay, he's cute. But it wasn't like cute like, oh my God, I'm gonna take a double look cute. It was more like, oh, he's attractive. And when I came to Italy, I was like, like I started blushing just from the looks. And then after a couple of days, I realized that even though there are very handsome men around me, and like I'm in Italy and I'm in the south of Italy for God's sake, so it's like there are very, very like handsome men around me. And I was like, even though they're very handsome, and of course, like I enjoy looking at the men that are attractive, I was like, I'm not sure if any of them asks me out, if I would say yes. I don't think I would prefer coffee with a stranger and talking to a stranger over being with myself and, for example, taking myself for a date or going to the park or reading a bit or focusing on my studies or on my channel or on anything like that. I was like, oh wow, like I thought about so many things I'd rather do with myself than with a guy that I think he's 10 out of 10. And it's not like I don't want a relationship, but to be honest, I'm not sure if men on the south of Italy are a good option for wanting a relationship. Let me just say it like that. I know it also from experience and from like my friends' experience and from everything I've heard. It is true. Guys on the south of Italy and like basically in Italy, they're very charming. They're the biggest flirts. They're very handsome, but most of them are not up for relationships and they are very clear about that. So I don't know if I would spend my time and energy on somebody that I would like that wouldn't value me as much as I value myself. I think it all comes down to loving yourself fully, to getting to know yourself, spending time with yourself, and validating yourself. The more you're seeking this validation from others, the more you're saying to yourself like, oh, I'm not basically entirely sure about what I want, and I'm not creating this nest for me. I'm not setting my proper boundaries. I'm not like getting into my being and trying to find out what I want. I'm looking for this house into other people. Your house, your home, what I'm referring to all the time is basically your attention, where your attention goes. Validation also means I do not need you to understand my feelings. Feminine energy is very, very about feelings, about intuition, about like basically about feelings. It's not about words. It's not about the actions or the facts, the proofs. Like I don't need you to understand why I'm feeling this way. If you cannot do it, that's fine. That's on you. That's not on me. Because what drives me crazy sometimes is when somebody is trying to is not validating me about my feelings, but is trying to make me feel bad about having any. When I'm being hurt, and not only you're not validating me, but you're trying to make me feel guilty about something that you actually made me feel, this is shitty. Even if you hurted me without wanting to hurt me, you still hurted me. And even if you said this exact same thing to the other person and they wouldn't get hurt, I did get hurt. So if you see me getting hurt, you acknowledge that you hurted me. You should just say sorry. And you don't have to say, I'm sorry for what I did. You can just say sorry. You can just say, I'm sorry that I hurted you. If you feel like, oh, I don't think I did something bad, but you look and you see the consequences. Maybe the action itself doesn't have to be bad, but maybe the consequences are. Maybe how it triggered me is making the action bad. So you don't have to say, I'm sorry for doing that. You can just say, I'm sorry for hurting you. Because this is something that most people do not realize. Like, saying sorry doesn't have to mean that I think my action was bad. But the consequences that my action created actually are bad. You are not here to teach. You are not here to entertain people. You are not here to explain yourself. You are here to understand yourself. You are here to feel your emotions. You are here to experience this earth, not to hurt other people, but also not to have to help them experience themselves. When I realized I do not need your validation, I can be hurt and I know that this is valid. If you said anything that made me feel this way, maybe it was my own childhood trauma, maybe it was something that I'm very vulnerable on, but if your words triggered me, I have the right to feel this way. And I'm not saying I will, push something onto you or like hit you or say something hurtful to you. No, but I have the right to isolate myself a bit, to take a step back, to understand my feelings, to feel the feelings, and to understand myself and to validate myself. I have the right to do that because those emotions, like not even one emotion is a bad emotion. Like, for example, did you know that anger is actually a feeling, an emotion that rises up for us as a result for our boundaries being crossed? for our morals being basically stepped onto. Basically stepping over the boundary that you've created, it makes you feel angry. And whatever boundary it is, whatever. I saw this one video that was basically explaining all the feelings, all the emotions as a result of some action. And this is very interesting, so you can look it up. It makes you understand yourself more. And I feel like getting to understand yourself also means getting to understand how other people feel and how I can better my relationships with other people. But I feel like the most important part is to actually better the relationship with yourself. Stop trying to make yourself feel guilty about being sad or about being tired or about being angry or even about being nostalgic or about missing somebody. These are all the feelings that we need to validate. The response and the reaction is something completely different, because one is being like a result of something, and the second thing is how we act upon it. Being angry. One of the things you can do is you can scream at somebody, you can get into a fight, you can go and drink yourself to, I don't know, being totally blacking out. The second thing you can do is you can isolate yourself a little bit, take deep breaths, drink some water, basically calm yourself down, understand why you're feeling this way, getting to know yourself a little bit better, validating yourself, getting yourself a little, hug, and moving on. And this is something that is very different. Stop demonizing your emotions, because not one emotion is bad. The fact that you felt angry doesn't justify you to do wrong, also doesn't have to make you a criminal. The way you are dealing with the emotions you're getting, this is the key. You are actually in control of your own actions. Even if somebody, does you wrong, you do not have to give them the response. You do not have to scream back. You do not have to try to prove them wrong. You do not have to do anything. And actually, making your mind peaceful is the best thing you can do. So when somebody gives you like a dirty look, or when somebody tries to talk shit about you or to you, isolate yourself. This is the best thing. Like right now, I'm so focused on creating my peace, creating the peaceful environment for me. And I'm actually cutting off the people from my life that do not serve me. And this is something I do like that. Like, I do not even hold myself back. This is something I was talking to my roommate with. Like, we went to this level onto self-love that we are not scared of being alone. Like, even if I have to cut most of the people out of my life, I'm protecting myself, I'm protecting my peace, and I'm the person I'm gonna spend my life with, not anybody else. So I feel like femininity is understanding I'm inside me being this light bulb. If you want your light bulb to attract people, you have to attract yourself. You have to understand what makes you so valuable. It's the same as the sales. Like, if you do not believe into your own product, why would you think anybody else would buy it? I believe in my product. I actually think my product is the best out there. And I'm not saying other people, like other women, are worse than me. I'm not saying they're better than me. I feel all women are so beautiful and are so magnetic and are so majestic. I love women. I feel like every woman should realize the price they are, because we are the price. And like I said, being in your femininity is understanding that. Is understanding my product is maybe not the best out there, but I feel like for me, this product is the best. Like, if I would have to give my opinion, my product is the best. And I don't think there is a shame of that. I don't think there is a shame of stating I'm the best person that I know. Because if you don't feel like you're the best person you know, why are you being this person? Like, literally. Because if I felt like I'm the worst person I know, why would I choose to stay as this person? If I want to get some qualities, I should just go ahead and try to change it. I could just, quiet down, and I should just actually get some qualities like that. We can be whoever we want to be, but it doesn't mean that we have to change ourselves. It means more that we need to find ourselves. And if you're finding yourself already within you, you do not have to do those 75 days hard. You do not have to have the best body to be, amazing. You are already amazing. This changed me. Your looks is the least interesting thing about you. When I first heard it, I started crying, because I feel like I'm gonna cry right now, because basically when I was growing up, I was sexualized a lot. And it came to a point that I felt as I had to dress up to school, like as I had to do those things, as I had to do this and that. And I felt like my looks, like how I'm looking, because I was getting I think every compliment that I was getting was based upon my looks. Like at some point of time, I was like, okay, so if this is the best quality of mine, I should embrace it, I guess. And this was all happening like subconsciously. I think I read it on Pinterest, and when I read it, I started crying as hell because it was something that hit me so much, because I was like, what do you mean it's the least interesting thing about me? Like, I'm beautiful, and like what can compare to that in myself? Like, what qualities? And then like I thought about my mom. If she was totally hideous, if she was the ugliest person I know, I would still love her with all my heart. My mom is somebody I melt when I'm thinking of her. She is the best person that I could choose to be my mom. And even like I said, if she looked like a monster, I would still choose her to be my mom in every single life. When I thought about it this way, I was like, why can't I love myself to the point that I love other people? Why can't I love myself that much to realize that I, like me as a person, it's not like, my corpse. It's not like my outer looks. It's about me. It's about my being. It's about my inner self. Imagine the most beautiful person that has like boring personality. Would you hang out with them? Actually, I think I wouldn't even go out with a person with no personality. Like, for example, when I'm asking about like, what's your hobby? And a guy says, oh, gym. I'm like, what else? Just gym. I'm sorry, I do not understand it. Like, what do you mean just gym? Like, you do not have something you're passionate about, you're interesting about. Like, I cannot comprehend this fact. Like, somebody says, what all my hobby is like games. Like, that's it? I'm not saying somebody cannot, be athletic, or they cannot actually like to go to the gym or like to play games. Like, okay, you do you. But like, is there something more? That was off topic. Anyway, so your looks is actually the least interesting thing about you. If you have any people around you whatsoever, like any people around you that are excited to talk to you, that are excited to be with you, your looks is the least interesting thing about you, because those people, like any person around you, wouldn't be there if you would be not interesting. The biggest advice is stop focusing so much onto your looks. Whenever I was trying to change myself, become recognizable, I realized this like 2 years ago. Like, I was focusing so much onto my outer part, onto what could I change? Okay, so I want my hair longer, and I want my lashes long, and I want a clear skin, and I wanna have bigger breasts, and I wanna have smaller waist, and I wanna have soft skin, and I wanna have longer nails, and actually I don't wanna have any hair on my body, and I wanna have bigger lips and smaller nose. And when I realized that on most of those lists that I created, how I would be the most like upgraded self ever, I realized on every single one, it was about the outer part, and the feminine energy is about your inner world. It's about your inner self. And I realized this, like I said, it was like about 2 years ago or even 3 years ago. I sat down and was like, damn, oh, I don't want to be that girl. And let me tell you, those things, when you're focusing onto the outer part, even if you feel like, oh, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna be totally different person when I'm gonna have clear skin, when I'm gonna have longer hair, when I'm gonna have this, when I'm gonna buy myself that, it never works. And I can say it from the experience, because I've been bothered by acne for, I think, 2 years now, or a year and a half. And you can see my skin now, it's much, much better. And I got burned here, so that is another topic, because I don't want to talk about it. I'm walking and you cannot see it fully because I have concealer on, but here I have like this big red like mark because I was burned. Let's not focus on that, like I said, but anyway. And I was wishing for so long for the skin that I have right now. I was imagining myself feeling so good, having no worries, because what could I possibly worry about when I have clear skin? Other thing, I was trying to make my hair the longest, it can get. A year and a half ago, I had such a long hair. Actually, hair up to here. I had such long hair, and I was like, I chopped it, of course, like to a bob, but anyway, I was trying to make it longer for like, I think 4 years or something, and I was imagining myself, oh, how would I look like with long hair? And then when it was getting longer and longer, I was looking for like a metamorpho. I was like, what if my hair was like very pretty with layers and like shorter, and I could like style it very well, and I could have like those blowouts that are amazing, and because it wouldn't be so long, like it would actually last. And I was thinking about it, and then I could do it, and I loved it, but it wasn't as big of a thing as I thought. So I think what those lessons are teaching all of us is that your outer looks is actually irrelevant, totally irrelevant. I think we all should focus about being the best person we could think of, and for everybody it's different. So I cannot tell you be more quiet, be more peaceful. I do not want to be quiet. I love to be creative. I'd love to be magnetic, mesmerizing, but not for the outer part to look. This is also, I think, the key. To be magnetic is not wanting to attract more people, but wanting to attract yourself. Where your attention goes, your energy goes. So if your attention is being onto everybody else, it's like you're putting the light on everybody else. If you're putting the light on yourself, you're thinking about yourself, you're putting the attention onto yourself, then you are being the light bulb that attracts. Then you are being this light. Then you are shining, you're glowing, because then you are putting the attention on yourself, and everybody can see you. Everybody's like, oh, what is that shine? What is that light? I want to go there. Feminine energy is something I can talk for hours for. This is something I'm super passionate about. And also something else is that I think if you're a woman and you want to embrace your feminine energy, getting into your cycle, most women are like, oh, we only get a couple of good days into our month. I do not agree with that. I actually love being on my period. This is when I can chill down, quiet down, and I can focus on myself. I can nourish myself. I can really like be gentle with myself the most, because I know that I need it the most at that time. And I'm very emotional. When I'm on my period, I cry a lot. And this is not something I feel like is bad. This is something I feel like is actually very, very good, because this is something that is embracing this emotional part of me. It's embracing this, oh, I'm not ashamed of my feelings part of me. If you get into your cycle and you get into every single part of your cycle, every single phase of your cycle, and you understand like the nutrition you need to have, the level of the hormones that you have at the time, I think that this is very good for you to understand yourself on also like this physical part. You can embrace every single phase of that, and this will embrace your femininity, your womanhood, and I feel like this also helps a lot. And that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I loved talking to you guys. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you in my next ones. Bye!